Hi, Missy K here on the Book Fix. Today my review is of The Magician's Land by Lev Grossman, and this is of course the conclusion in the Magician's trilogy, so if you haven't read the first two books, I will be talking about things from the first two books. So, Quentin can no longer go to Fillory, and he's really sad about it at first, but then he just sort of decides to make a new life outside in the real world. I mean, he's still a magician. That's pretty cool. And oh man, so much stuff happens. It's hard to summarize. But there is stuff happening in Fillory. Fillory is looking like there is going to be an apocalypse. The world is going to end. And so, of course, the humans, the people who are ruling, the humans still in Fillory, are trying to end it. And Quentin is on the outside. He goes back to Breakbills for a while, and then he gets kicked out, which isn't really a spoiler because there's some back and forth as far as time at the beginning of the book. So you have, like, you know that almost right away that he's no longer at Breakbills, that he was told to leave. So then he hooks up with Plum, and they have a big adventure. And I really can't tell you anything more, but what I can tell you is that Quentin has grown up. He is not the spoiled child that I hated in the first book and mostly hated in the second book. He is actually a real person now instead of whiny teenager, awful, self-centered jerk. I really hated him. But he's grown up. And also I love Plum. And yeah, the characters are all fairly likable, or at least real. I mean, and that's always been, Lev Grossman has always written characters that are real. They're believable. They're just, sometimes you hate them. And so yeah, I like Plum. And I think that the writing has gotten maybe a little more smooth, or maybe he's done that on purpose as kind of a reflection of Quentin growing up and becoming a man, or, you know, an adult. Yeah, it's hard to say. I'm not sure. But anyway, I found this book the most actually enjoyable of any of them, because there were times during the first book when I almost gave up. I thought, this is really boring, and I don't know, it's well written, but I don't know if I can handle how boring this is and how much I hate Quentin. But no, I continued, and because it was always right about when I was about to give up that something awesome would happen, or I would just be really impressed by a turn of phrase or something, and I would never quite give up. And I'm really glad that I didn't. And then in the second book, I didn't really ever feel like giving up. This book, I never once wanted to give up. I just sped right through it all. And now, the conclusion, which I'm not going to go into specifics, but I will say that I thought the conclusion was a little too neat. It was a little too tied up with a bow. But it was definitely interesting, and I liked the big final spell. I liked that. And yeah, I'm still thinking about it, which is always a good sign. So basically, I do recommend this whole trilogy. And if you feel like during the first book that you're going to give up, that you think, oh, this passage is just so boring, don't do it. You will definitely be glad if you finish the whole series. And this book is the easiest, quickest read of all of them, probably because Quentin isn't a despicable person as much. And oh, and the other thing that I thought was really great is that even though Quentin isn't hateful so much in this book, he's still the same as far as he's a little bit arrogant, he's really impulsive, and so he's still the same person. So I did like that he grew up, but he's still Quentin. Yeah. So I guess, like I said, I can't give any more specifics, but I do like the series, and I like this book, and I really want to talk about it with someone who's finished it. My friend has almost finished it, and I really need to talk